and welcome to Mental Health 101. Mental Health 101 is created to empower mental health awareness. And today I have my special guest. She's helping seniors to retire with financial freedom, no other than Miss Ann Pels.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Mental Health 101, Miss Anne. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
We offer two phone calls to people, a house team and a business team. The house team will help people with a free calculator to help them pay their house off within 5 to 7 years without changing income or expenses at all. And the business team is meant to help people buy businesses, sometimes with nothing down, so that they can have at least 10K a month coming in with just an hour a week. Because the management team will run everything already. And these are already existing businesses that are out there. Baby boomers are retiring and they want to be done. And then it gives us a way to give people income and not have to take a lot of time. So, those are the two main ways that we help people right now. But it was quite a journey to get here. We and I think that might be why
Yes,
we're talking about mental health. That was our the beginning of everything. We needed to figure out how to have resources and help for that part of our life too. So
definitely. And Miss Anne, I want that 10K every month or more.
yep.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom on Mental Health 101. Why is it mental health awareness is important today, and how has the conversation changed in recent years?
I'm I think well, I can just share from my own experience if you don't mind for a minute.
Yes, in your experience.
When I was 17, my parents divorced and yeah, I was just not myself. It was a really kind of blindsided us, and I didn't really know why I wasn't feeling good, but I was really sad, angry, frustrated, lots of crazy emotions, and felt that for 3 or 4 years off and on, and then finally things came to a head, and I even was starting to get more suicidal, honestly. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not, something's not working. I'm losing weight. I'm not sleeping. I've got, anyway. So, long story short, I didn't even really know 40 years ago that I was going into depression and anxiety after that, the divorce of my parents. And now I think people are much more open. There are resources and teams of people and doctors and medical help and lots of great, and like for my own journey, the doctor gave me a combination of drugs, therapy, and a book called The Feeling Good Handbook. And it revolutionized everything I was thinking. All of the, I'm not good enough, I don't know what to do, I'm never going to be good enough. And all of that really negative thinking that was causing depression and anxiety for me about my relationships, about money, about all kinds of things. Um, that Feeling Good Handbook gave me a place to write it down and talk to the doctor, have some therapy. And after that immediate about the divorce, as things, it became a tool that we could use later. So I think now there's just a lot of tools in the toolbox that people have available. Um, you can you can have medical help online like this. You don't even have to leave your house to still talk to good therapists, to have great mental health resources. And yeah, we it's been quite a journey. I wish that I had known as a young mom 20 years ago how to create that strength and resilience in my own children, that they didn't have to feel like they weren't good enough and that they didn't know what to do, and all the thinking that was creating that anxiety and depression for me. So um, had quite a few books and other people that have helped me over the last 20, 25 years. Happy to share about that if that's helpful. And I think that that was the beginning. Just being able to say each of us are good enough. We're all very, very different. Even my brothers and sisters all grew up in the same house as me. We're all very different. We have different interests. My kids are all very different from each other. And it's okay to be different. We're all going to be like, some people love cooking. You're one of them, and I don't. But it's okay that we're different, and everybody has something to contribute. And I think once I kind of figured that out, it was easier for me to believe and accept that the possibility of good things happening. And sometimes in the middle of the worst anxiety and depression and mental health journeys that people have, it can be hard to see that light. Everything feels very dark. Everything's overwhelming, and but once we took advantage of some of those resources and tools in the toolbox, things got dramatically different and better within a very short amount of time. It doesn't necessarily have to be like long and drawn out and take forever to really start seeing some results and things. So that was.
Yes. So, Miss Anne, in your experience, what are the most common misconception about mental health that you'd like to correct?
Um, I think for me, I just felt like I was a personal failure. If I was in anxiety and depression, I must be failing as a person. And that's not necessarily the case. Literally, as I talked with doctors and other people over the years, it's more like, can be for some people, when you're feeling those feelings, it can be a hormone imbalance. It can be just similar to a person that has diabetes. And we wouldn't necessarily say to the diabetic person, oh, you don't need to take the insulin. You'll be okay. You don't have to take the medicine to help with this, right? So it's okay to need help, to not know how to navigate all the rocks and bumps in the road that happen. It's okay to feel sad when you've lost a job, when you have a health concern, when and to get help just the same as we would for a broken leg. We're going to go get a cast on it. We're going to get x-rays. We're going to, it's okay to do that for mental health too. And I think the other thing that I wish I had known as a young mom, I didn't really know how to put my own oxygen mask on, to breathe for a few minutes and give myself peace and space to just be like, wow, I am not handling this situation with my children very well. I need a few minutes to collect myself and get back to a better place before I try and talk with them or work things out. So I think those are the two main misconceptions is, sometimes we think that self-care and taking care of, giving ourselves a few minutes to count to 10 or whatever about the hard things that are happening is not okay, that we just have to keep running, 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 running faster. And that's not always the case. In fact, sometimes when I would pray or think about things, I would realize I just needed to slow down a little bit. And then, like we would for a broken leg, we're going to slow down and not walk on that leg for a little while. I think mental health is like that too. While we're getting everything figured out, it's okay to slow down and think about what tools we need in the toolbox, what's not working, what is working, and realize that it's not going to be forever. It very likely will be able to find the right set of information we need if we keep asking and looking for solutions. So
How do you define mental wellness and how it is different from just absence of illness, Miss
that's
Anne?
that's a beautiful question, right?
Yes.
Mental wellness, I think for me means that in general, I feel resilient. I'm able, when you feel like you can handle whatever comes at you that day, and you're in a good place mentally, whether it's feels like a roller coaster day or not, you're able to kind of just weather things and feel like you have solutions, you have people available to you, you don't feel alone and isolated. When I was in the worst of the depression and anxiety, I really didn't want people to know. I'm not going to say anything to anybody. It's embarrassing to have to go through this. But when we flip that on its head and we're like, no, I'm actually in a place that I need some help. I'm not navigating this very well. So coming from, it's okay to not be doing well and be in illness, and then take the steps and move forward into the place where you can be actually feel well and have tools and resources. Like once I learned something, what I didn't know about what I didn't know, then the next time that thing happens, I'm better equipped to handle it the next time. Like if I've already changed a flat tire, I haven't, I don't, but just as an example, if you've already done something and figured it out, then the next time it's easier. And then you're in a place, I think, of mental wellness versus just not having mental illness. You actually feel like you have an ability to navigate that and tools and people around you to help. So,
What cultural societal barriers still prevent people from taking openly about mental health?
hmm. Well, I'm almost, I think we're afraid. We're afraid of what other people will think about us. And sadly, they're probably going through a lot of the same similar emotions, feelings, thoughts, actions, and they might really be helped by having someone being more open and vulnerable. I think that's improved a lot since I was 18 years old, and now 35 years later, I think people are a lot more open. But I think just feeling like if you do speak out about how you're feeling about your own mental wellness or illness, and not feeling like you'll be judged, just feeling like there's a place to be accepted and safe in, you know, I think it's easier to say, I have a broken leg and I'll be better in 6 weeks, than sometimes it is for us to talk about mental health as well. One of the
Mhm.
things that really, really helped me was a book called Limitless. And in the back, it had a set of beliefs. Limitless by Chris Crone had a set of new beliefs that I could choose to think about instead of, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, things never work out. Those types of things will generally create sadness and anxiety and worry, instead of feeling like the new way to think about is, I am good enough, we'll figure it out, things happen and it's okay, right? I mean, just being able to reframe it. I had a friend say he gets really excited when he fails. And what if that's how we feel when things don't turn out how we expect, or a relationship fails, or money fails? We're in a place of don't have enough, can't do it, but we're like, you know what, that's okay. I'm learning, I'll do better the next time. It kind of like riding a bike, right? I'll do better the next time. If we just get off the bike the first time we fall all over, we'll never have a chance to really figure out how to do better.
Misan, how can we normalize mental health conversation in workplaces, schools, and families?
Hmm. I think just being willing to be open, and um, having a little bit of grace for ourselves and for other people. I didn't do this very well, and I'm trying to improve. As in, like, it's okay if someone doesn't want to do it the way I like to do things. They might like a completely different way of operating and how they solve problems, how they communicate, how they do things, and that's okay too. So, what it's okay, I think. And I think on social media, people are a lot more open about it now, and maybe that will help. Just being able to normalize it, like we would for a broken leg, or like we would for someone who has insulin dependence, or that it isn't a strange thing. It's just part of life, and we're going through a rough patch, but we're adapting and finding resources and tools to help us navigate that better. So I think communication like this, like what you're offering, and like other resources that people can find online. Really, there's so much good out there now that people are more aware. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And Miss Anne, can you enlighten us about your advocacy that we can make financial freedom simple?
Yes. I just really, when we went through that rough patch ourselves, lost a job, and I've seen people, their health changes, they get in an accident or whatever. We just want to have options and tools and resources available to us. I think the most expensive education we all pay for without really even knowing it about mental health or about anything else is what we don't know that we don't know. And so being able to have access to people who already have the results that we want financially, whatever it is, if you want to figure out real estate, businesses, if you want to talk to our teams, for example, just having more information gives you options. Like, what if there's a way to have that extra 10K a month coming in with just an hour a week of time? And what if you can get the house taken care of and paying for itself within a few years so that I it's just things I didn't know until about 5 years ago. And I'm really grateful now. I think my own mental health journey, I'm grateful for that too. I'm grateful for the hard parts that were really, really difficult that I didn't handle very well, because now I'm in a place where I can reach down and help other people with it too. With, I think, all of our experiences like that. It's like getting a good recipe. You've tried it and now you know it works, and then you can share it and help other people have a great time having that recipe too, right?
Yes, indeed. We want that 10K every month as additional income, Miss Anne. And what is your response to someone who says mental health struggles are just a sign of weakness?
That's what I thought. And then it was my turn to go through it when I was 17 and 18. And I think my response now would be, well, two things. You'll probably have a turn to have that happen for you, one, and two, um, it's not going to hurt to give people a little bit of space and time to figure themselves out, to realize that it is just like, you what you would do if you broke a finger or you had another broken bone. Mental illness is just like that. It's another piece of our lives that's very important, and it impacts um, how we feel, and what we're thinking about impacts how we act and respond to situations that come up. I vividly remember that after I had more resources and the doctor and the medicine and the Feeling Good handbook back then, that I would go through the same experiences, but I would be able to handle it so much better. So I think it's it's not a sign of weakness as much as it is something that we haven't figured out how to do yet, like riding the bike. I am not a good swimmer, for example. I If I practiced more, or the piano, what if it's just like that? It's just something, it's not a weakness, it's just something I haven't focused on. The piano and the swimming as much as I could. If I'm probably not ever going to be an Olympic athlete in that area, but I just haven't practiced enough to become really proficient at it. And I think mental wellness is like that. There are specific things we can practice and learn, so that the next time we're confronted with a situation that would throw us into anxiety or depression, we have tools in the toolbox or a recipe for how to navigate through that again, so it's easier the
Yes,
next time.
definitely. And Miss Anne, as a helping uh, people or senior citizen for their financial freedom, what are your short term and long term goals?
Oh, I'm publishing a book in the next few months. We want to help at least 10,000 families with it. I feel like I'm a hope warrior. I want to be sure that people don't get into their 40s and 50s or even earlier than that. If they're like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to afford a house? How am I ever going to? If you're willing to ask those questions and just say, what if there is a way? Then that's my vision and purpose is to give people things they didn't know that they didn't know to help them have a better, like not have to take 20 years figuring it out, just have those 2 phone calls and at least explore the possibilities. Because I think each of us are amazing. We're just like the Butterfly Effect book by Andy Andrews. There was a little boy in there that was found in a burlap sack, and he taught as he grew up because those people helped him when he was orphaned and left in a sack. They raised him, and he was able to teach other people how to grow food. His name is George Washington Carver, and billions of people were fed because of what he was able to teach people. So I think each family, each person that you help on these podcasts and on other things that we all get to contribute to each other, we don't even know how far our impact can go. What if one family that hears this message gets better mental health help, and then all the people that they impact after that. And I think that's a beautiful message in the Butterfly Effect book, that we don't always realize how far our reach is and how far our impact is. So financially, that's been important to me, so that's why I like to reach out to people that way. But there are so many things that we all get to help each other with. So
Yes, before we wrap up our discussion today, Miss Anne, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and law 101 and mental health 101 are my baby podcasts. Love letters in third season, movie 101 review and music 101 in fourth season, and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Miss Anne, how can we shift narrative around mental health from crisis to collective care?
oh, I love that. I think maybe just being like my grandpa. If we wait until we're emotionally depleted and we're in emergency and then it's harder than if we're just willing to keep the gas tank half full and keep that oxygen mask on, that I didn't when I was a young mama. Self-care and being willing to give ourselves the space and the time to realize that our mental health and well-being is just as important as taking care of our physical body too, like getting good sleep, good nutrition. It all impacts our mental health journey as well. And I think just baby steps, a little bit better today than I was yesterday about handling this thing mentally and emotionally, a little bit better tomorrow, a little bit better. And we'd be surprised if we look back and think, oh wow, a year ago this would have really floored me or been a roller coaster and crazy, but now I'm that much stronger. I've practiced more, practiced my swimming, practiced my piano, or whatever. As we compare that to the mental health journey, we're practicing and we're getting stronger and better every day. That would be, I think, a real benefit.
Miss Anne Pearl, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom on Mental Health 101. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or your upcoming book?
Oh, they can go to our website, lifegiverlegacy.com, or Ann at lifegiverlegacy.com to get those links and free information to connect about houses, about businesses, about real estate, and anything else that I can help with too. Happy to do it. So,
Yes, people, let's support Miss Ann Pels because if you support her, more and more empowering business to come for sure, and more seniors will be in a financial freedom. So, Miss Anne, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.